over the last month with Dustin Crum as the starter come out a little bit earlier. He said it's in this team. We have to access it from the very beginning of the football game. If we can do that, we can do anything in this crazy, wacky CFL season, as he believes in his club. Saskatchewan won the coin toss, deferred. Ottawa will get the first possession of the ball game as Brett Lowther has it on the tee, and we're underway. Sunday night football from Mosaic. Returned out across the 20. Big special teams hit immediately, firing up the Saskatchewan crowd as we get our first look at Dustin Crum coming out on the field.
Well, you can really set the tone on the special teams, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders get that done from Kozianyeka, who's all the way down, full sprint on the cover team. Sets the tone for the Riders.
No breakdown, but just
straight to it.
Right through it. So Crum does come out, completing 66% of his passes so far on the year. 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. But man, some of the rushing statistics for a quarterback are just out of this world. They'll begin with a run look, pulls it down, pressure on now, looks to run and stumbles right at the line of scrimmage and gets taken down.
Well, quite the story in Ottawa. Dustin Crum, who's in start number 4, as I mentioned, and has won 2 of them. All the 3 games he started have gone right down to the wire, including the loss last week against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. 1 possession game, again going into the final 3 minutes, got right down to the goal area and didn't quite get it done in that one. Hamilton wins, but 2-1 as a starter, and he can take off.
Begins with 2nd and 7 here. Tough down and distance against the Saskatchewan Noise as Crum looks over the top into the sun, fading over the edge. And holding the back of his head, it's Jalen Acklin, but it looks like he held on to it. A big throw and an even better catch from Acklin.
Yeah, just a great adjustment to the football here, as Acklin is a guy that they've just really wanted to try and get kick-started. I mean, coming off a great year last year, and he just hasn't had the same sort of numbers. It did look like he might have hit the deck pretty hard there.
This one goes on an inside run, as that is Devontae Williams. We're going to look at the starting offense for these Ottawa REDBLACKS, including Jalen Acklin with that big grab.
Zach Pelios was sick in warm-up and had to be a late scratch in this, so they're going to move Jacob Ruby out to right tackle and play Hunter Stewart at right guard. And it's a kind of a homecoming, so to speak, for Shaq Evans, his former Saskatchewan Roughriders. You know that he circled this on the calendar and wanted to have a big game.
No doubt about that. 2,800 career yards for Evans coming into tonight. Wants to have a better performance than he did last Friday against Hamilton. Crum goes underneath this time. Nate Bahar gets involved in the game plan. That'll be close to the first down yardage required. And Bob Dice's first decision to make here on the road.
It looks like he's bringing out the kicking team on the road in hostile territory. 3rd and a long 2, almost 3. Just inside of field goal range, I would suggest. Long on the season for Lewis Ward, 54 yards. He's made them from here before.
Yeah, 50 plus thus far on the season. 3 of 3 for Ward, the all-time leader in CFL accuracy. Field goal, this one is short. Didn't have enough leg, but Mario Alford couldn't get on top of it. Rolls around and decides to take a knee. And so Ottawa does get on the board in the opening possession, albeit a single. Mason Fine heading back onto the field here after warm-ups. His first chance, live revs at home after a touchdown Atlantic loss. That stung a little bit.
In his career so far, but you know, putting up some pretty big numbers. You go back to Halifax last week and against the Toronto Argonauts, a very good defense and good veteran secondary. A couple of mistakes, but he threw for over 300 yards. In fact, as I mentioned, over the last 2 games, almost 600 yards passing, and still looking for that first win.
Leading the Canadian Football League in completion percentage right now, 74.4%. Needs to hit some more of the deep shots, though. That is an emphasis for them throughout the week. So is this, the running game. Inside, expect to see a lot of that throughout the evening. There's Jamal Morrow. We'll say more of his name along this Saskatchewan starting offense.
Peter Godber's been back in the lineup now for a couple games. They get Eric Lofton that they're going to have to put back in at left tackle. That's been a bit of a rotation with Brandon Council and Gerald Hawkins, but Top two receivers coming into the week in the Canadian Football League are Tevin Jones and Sean Bain, playing side by side for the most part in the Saskatchewan offense.
Sean Bain, 41 catches, leads the CFL here in week number 9. Is looking at arm hit, still got it away, complete underneath. It's the newcomer stepping in for the injured Braden Lennius, and right away it's Jarrett Stearns making an impact. Big college career at Western Kentucky.
Bryce Carter is going to get a nice little stunt up front here to get the pressure on Mason Fine to get things started. It's a little underneath stunt, just 4-man pressure, but the stunt gives the Saskatchewan O-line a little bit of problems, and that's why Mason Fine gets hit as he dumps this off to the newcomer.
Go back to the running game here. Off the right-hand side is Morrow getting stopped in that Ottawa starting defense. Suits fit in the CFL at 22 points per game as they unpile themselves, and we'll see a late flag come out as well.
Well, Lorenzo Malden is the leader of that group for sure, but he's also drawing more attention, and when he does, that means Bryce Carter will get more one-on-ones. We already see him on that stunt making a difference. No Frankie Griffin in the lineup. He's on the 1 game injured, so it'll be Adam O'Clair out of Laval. They'll start at that tweener position, and they get Justin Howell back at safety.
Fouls, one against Ottawa number 90, Saskatchewan number 51. Those penalties offset, it's second down.
Godbear and Cleon Lang setting the tone on the interior in the running game that time, so they'll offset. If either one of them get a misconduct penalty, they'll be gone from the ball game, as our lead official Tim Croker sends a message here early on in the first quarter. Godbear digs back in after a gain of 3 on the ground tomorrow. Looks for the quick throw. Now has to go back the other direction. It's Stearns once again making the grab. He'll move the sticks inside the 40 of the Red Blacks.
See Fine taking a look at both sides of the. This is a good sign, as you know, Marshall, for a quarterback to take a hard look to his right, not like what he saw over there, and go back through his progressions quickly to the wide side and know that he's got that out. That's just confidence in the pocket. Good sign for Rider fans.
Jarrett Stearns, originally an Army commit, decided to go to Houston Baptist and then followed his quarterback Bailey Zappi. Some NFL success at quarterback there to Western Kentucky. He's loving Mason Fine on this first drive. Into traffic, big hit. Jake Winicky holds on to it, moved the sticks again. He had to earn every bit of it inside the 20.
He sure did, and he also got a good throw from his quarterback so that he could protect himself. You going inside like that, you know you're going to get hit. Justin Howell's back at the safety spot for this game tonight. He's the guy who lowers the boom on Winicky, but he throws it in there so he can protect himself, coil up, and absorb that hit from 21.
It's the 14th catch of the season for Jake Winicky. Missed 3 weeks before touchdown Atlantic last week out in Halifax. Back on the roster in a big way here in week 9. Fine goes back to Winicky. 15th catch of the season. Find a little rhythm.
This quick game, you know, this could be an automatic where if you see the defensive back playing out a cushion sort of technique where he's going to play off a receiver, that they can just make eye contact. There's sometimes a signal involved between quarterback and receiver, and then it's a quick hot route to get success on first down.
Shea Patterson checks into the ball game here in short yardage. 2nd and 4. They really wanted to emphasize mixing and matching the quarterback run game, and especially 2nd and 4 to 6. Mario Elford crosses face, take a little pitch to him. Patterson between the tackles is stopped and turned around at the 10-yard line. Good job by that Ottawa front. Not fooled by the speed horizontally of the dynamic return man wearing number 2 in Riders green.
Now it is decision time for Craig Dickinson. Some will say, you know, you have Mason Fine in a bit of a rhythm there, and you took him out on 2nd down. However, Craig Dickinson said this has been part of their plan all week, and going back throughout some of the season too, to get Shea Patterson in on a couple of series. But they will settle for the field goal attempt here.
A shot there of Josh Valentine Turner as well. Delray Beach.
Not yet.
Oh, Jake Dolagala Big body backup quarterback. It goes hard count, and I think Lorenzo Malden might have jumped. I wondered, Suits, when we saw they went from Mason Fine into Shea Patterson, and then Dolan Gallo comes off the sideline. You're going, yeah, a little bit of flexibility there.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, they just trying to manufacture some wins to snap a 3-game losing streak that the Riders get back home after coast-to-coast road trips.
Offside, Ottawa. 5-yard penalty. Makes it first down.
Well, if the Saskatchewan fans didn't already love Jake Dolegala for one drive led and one touchdown in Touchdown Atlantic, they're going to love him even more for this.
A good hard count.
It gives Mason Fine a fresh set of downs. 1st and goal. Hands it off inside. Jamal Morrow lowers the hammer. Touchdown Riders.
Right side of the offensive line, it's a unbalanced offensive line with basically a tight end and Awachi playing to help in the blocking and the kick out. And Jamal Morrow gets TD #1, making up for a fumble last week in Halifax.
Yes,
right down on the goal line.
Very close to scoring last week, but for Jamal Morrow, that's his first touchdown of the season after 9 plays, 65 yards in a little under 5 minutes. As this time, they will kick it. Why not? Extra point up and through. Mason Fine handed the rock off. Morrow hasn't gone over 50 yards since June, but he's got a major, his first of 2023.
To get some help from Logan Furlan, his right guard. The block on Adam Auclair is key. He gets a down block to help out there. Stop it here, and there is the big block right there to kick out one linebacker, leaving Jamal Morrow with a one-on-one on Javon Santos-Knox, and he drags him the extra yard.
Yards after contact. A big one for Jamal Morrow, and he's primed for a big night. A little bit out of necessity, though, Suits, because the receivers in Saskatchewan, so many injuries right now. They've got Braden Lennius going on to the injured list. Terrell Walker still out. Mitch Picton, Kean Schaefer-Baker as well. Juwan Breskison is out. So you wonder if they might be a little run heavy. But they did use Stearns in that first drive as well. Ottawa gets possession back. Crossing the 30, now the 35, down that left sideline, making a man miss. And a solid return that time from another newcomer on the roster, Tobias Harris. Gets Dustin Crum. A good spot to set up shop when we return. The golf green is around here, Suits. I haven't been here in a while. It feels a little greener than I remember.
Yeah, the golf courses are empty right now. They're all here.
Dustin Crum has 1st and 10. All of a sudden, those golf greens sitting in the crowd get loud, and Crum fires a comeback, something he had so much success with in the 2 victories. This one, COC Mariner on the outside. 1st down, Ottawa.
Well, really like the play calling by Kahari Jones to get a really athletic and strong running quarterback out and around the edge. Remember this in the old days? We called that the Sally Rand. Damon Allen, former Ottawa quarterback, that did that to perfection. A nice catch there on the sideline.
We'll see Mariner 9th catch of the season. They'll go with a pitch this time. It's Williams on the edge, trying to cut back. Micah Johnson saw it the whole way. 12th tackle of the season. That one goes for loss, his first of the year, as he's part of this Saskatchewan starting defense led by Jason Shivers.
Well, Charbel DeBeer is going to start on the inside, but Micah Johnson will rotate through. We just saw him on the defensive line there. Larry Dean is their leader in the linebacking core. And I always wonder about a veteran corner in Nick Marshall against a young guy in his 4th start. He may just jump one tonight, or at least try to.
2nd and long for the Red Blacks. Their last in the CFL converting these, just 29%. Crum will have to do it with his legs. He's got to run away from Micah Tights, tries to lean forward. And he'll come up a couple yards shy, very close suits to where they sent out Lewis Ward earlier, and they will once again.
I've been tracking where Dustin Crum escapes to. You know, some quarterbacks are good runners when they escape, and Crum certainly will escape like he does here. But there's also times where he's running with a goal in mind, like a tailback. He's got an agenda as he get outside. I'm trying to track exactly where he does run to, whether it's off the edges or between the tackles.
Another 50-plus attempt here for Lewis Ward. This one about 2 yards closer than the last attempt that fell short. He got all of this one, and it is on the money. Ottawa tags another on here as Jamal Morrow, first touchdown of the season. 84 carries coming in. Happy to be back.
Get him involved. They're averaging 124 yards a game rushing when they win. And when they lose, that's cut in half or more than half. So, you know, getting him involved is very important. And if anyone saw that Calgary game and Dedrick Mills against the real good Toronto front seven, if you stick with it and be disciplined with it, it's really going to help in the balance department.
And Morrow had a game like that earlier this year for 133 yards. We'll see if he gets up that high here tonight as Mason Fine, with 4 receivers to his right, hands it off. Morrow on the backside, trying to run right down that hash and pick up a 5. He's 2nd and 5.
Now that's a decision. That's a decision by Mason Fine there. It's not a called automatic run. I asked Fine this week about, you know, how many times about, he didn't really give a percentage away, but saying that, yeah, there are times when it's a designed run where he doesn't have a choice to pull it. That wasn't.
Coach and Tevin Jones down, haven't said his name yet, to the outside. Little miscommunication. CFL's top 2 receivers yardage-wise, with Bain and Tevin Jones on the same side that time. And it looked like Bain wasn't seeing things the way that Mason Fine was.
Yeah, that was certainly just a communication issue. Sean Bain ran a go route and Mason Fine threw it out.
Well, Sean Bain did tell us this week, too, so I said, hey, you're expecting a lot of man coverage. What's your favorite man route? He said, just go.
Just go route.
I just want to separate and run away from people.
Every receiver thinks they're open every play in man-to-man.
See if they go back to that later on. Adam Korsak ready to kick this one away. First year out of Rutgers. Nice spiraling boot to the wide side of the field. Drops down in front of Tobias Harris. Wonderful kick from Korsak there. As Dustin Crum gets another possession here for the Ottawa REDBLACKS, with more on his journey and a specific connection to the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Here is Britt Dort.
Yeah, well, one of the challenges when you have a younger and newer quarterback in the CFL is trying to find film on them. But the Saskatchewan Roughriders actually went one step further. You see their defensive line coach, Del Causette, actually tried recruiting Dustin Crum in high school when he worked down in the States in college football. And so head coach Craig Dickinson asked him about him, and he said, you know, not much has changed about him. He still throws the football the same way, but he did describe him as dangerous. He said he makes plays, and he plays best when the chips are down. So head coach Craig Dickinson echoed that. He said, you don't want to underestimate him, guys.
No doubt about that. Yeah, Dustin Crum's got a lot of momentum going despite the loss against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. We get a look back here at Dustin Crum in the game last Friday night. Couldn't take advantage of those 5 interceptions from Bo Levi and Mitchell, which really was their downfall.
Yeah, I mean, but right down to the wire again after 2 wins, one against Winnipeg when he came back from down 16 in the final 3 minutes, and then beat Calgary. And then right down to the goal line area and just couldn't get it done against Hamilton.
That comes up to Crum, goes quick game to the outside. There's Shaq Evans making the grab on 2nd down. And it will be just enough to move the sticks.
Slowly working his way back is Shaq Evans. And, you know, last week he's back off the injury list and again looked like he was just a little bit out of sorts, didn't quite have the timing down with his quarterback. Maybe that will get him kick-started. Right at the marker.
5 targets, just 1 catch last week for number 1 in Ottawa. Deep shot, Crum gets hit as he throws, hangs it up high, flag is down, drops it in, and incomplete. Jalen Eklund very nearly had a big one that time. He's only had one deep pass attempt of 20 yards or more in the last 6 weeks. He's already got 2 here in the first quarter.
I think he's going to get
offside. That's number 37. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
You could hear from up here, and that's of course part of our parabolic mics that are picking it up from the Ottawa sideline. They thought that there was some pass interference going on there with Jeremy Clark. Well, let's take a look. Clark's just running with him. Little push there, little grab there. I thought both were hand fighting. Good no call. See that little push by Ackland, little grab by Clark. Let that go.
Ackland's only got 1 grab of 20-plus yards so far this season. Looking for those chunk plays is with a favorable down and distance. They go back to the running game inside, wrapped up by Pete Robertson.
Short yardage. Well, short yardage team out there. Being Tyrell Pigram.
Pete Robertson checks out of the ball game here. Pass rush specialist off the edge, leading the Riders with 4 sacks. Bringing some extra weight in the middle. Micah Johnson in. A defensive tackle. Tyrell Pigram nowhere really to go. Legs tackled, but he leans forward.
That second effort, I think, just got him there. Just that last little push and then falling backwards the way he did.
Well, the slowest developing quarterback sneaks we've seen this year. It's not supposed to look like that, Suits.
Well, you know, by the fact that he went in on 2nd and 3, it tells you that he's going to stay in, even if they don't get it. So they're going to get, you know, what they get. They are short by just a couple of inches, with the spot of the ball being just short of the 35.
Pigram digs in once again. 3rd and short so far this season. The Red Blacks, with a variety of quarterbacks, are 7 for 8. Make that 8 of 9.
I'll tell you what, though, just watching that preseason with Pigram when he was in Winnipeg, I think one of the most intriguing backup quarterbacks in the league is Tyrell Pigram. And that's not that I want anyone to get hurt to see him or anything like that. I'd knock on wood on all of that, but very interesting guy, real strong runner, strong bottom half. I mean, he's got great core strength, hard to bring down, and a big arm. He can really rip it.
I think he expected to be in this stadium, but probably not until Labor Day as a member of the Bombers after the preseason he had, but they went a different direction, so here he is with the Red Blacks. Inside handoff once again. His first down gain that time, a healthy one for the Red Blacks. 7th in the CFL in average first down gain, just 5.9 yards per attempt. That one will set him up with a 2nd and 6 to begin quarter number 2. 7-4 is your score. As the Riders get into the end zone with Jamal Morrow and Mason Fine in control. Morrow pretty even, all things considered, at this point, and the control of the ball game, you would have to think, is going to go through whether or not Mason Fine can get this game to just settle down and play the style that he wants. On the other side for Ottawa, it's been a roller coaster for the last couple of weeks.
Real exciting to watch Ottawa over the last few weeks with the young Dustin Crum at the helm, and just how he has mentioned if he played 18 games, his pace rushing the ball would be over 1,500 yards this year. That would be a record for a quarterback running the football, and he's on pace just to continue this season rushing for over 1,000 yards. There's only a few quarterbacks that done that, but it has been exciting down to the wire football for Ottawa fans for sure.
Never a dull moment for the Red Blacks right now. Crum told us this week, loudest place he played in college, Texas A&M or Iowa. Well, says this is the loudest he's going to face probably in the CFL this season. He'll take off and run this time, and the Riders right there to track him down. Pete Robertson makes the play and introduces himself.
Now, we did talk to him this week about this, and that is the hits that he took in Hamilton. And I mentioned in that game, we called that game, I mentioned during the first quarter that Hamilton was making sure they got the extra hit. When he ran and got in the open field, now he's treated as a tailback. He doesn't have the protection that quarterbacks have in the rules any longer, and you want to make sure you put a lick on him every time he gets out past that line of scrimmage.
Kick sent away by Richie Leone. This one high. It'll drive Mario Alford all the way back to his 12-yard line. Makes the first man miss. And the ball is out. Rolling along the sideline. Who was the last touch along that sideline in front of the Red Blacks bench? We'll get a look at it.
Boy, they're discussing right now. This might be this is Ottawa ball.
I guess the other question, Suits, is how did it come out? Mario Alford pretty secure with the football throughout this season on top of his great return ability.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, it felt like he was about due for a big return. There's where it popped out clearly. He was not down by contact.
Oh.
Gary Johnson strips it, and then it was whether or not that ball was touched.
The previous play is under review by the command center.
Hits the ground there. Now, did he touch it right there? That was Alford that reached for it, because if he touches it right there, it's Saskatchewan ball. Because until it hits the ground there, it was touched by, I think, Goslin, the cover guy for Ottawa.
Yeah, Anthony Goslin down the field, and again, viewers watching down south, last touch out of bounds. Nobody has to recover. It's just whoever it touched last before it went out of bounds.
Unless it's a kicking motion. You can't make a kicking motion or else it goes to the other team. So yeah, if it touches the leg of Alford there and then bounces out, it's Saskatchewan ball. Or if he touched it with his hand, because I don't think another Red Black got to it after that touch.
What a heads-up play by Mario Alford to reach back with his right hand in the general vicinity of the football in case he swiped it. I mean, it's not an easy way to see, but they've ruled it on the field as Ottawa possession. Reviewed by the command center, though, as we'll get a look at it. Alford looking at the replay on the Jumbotron. We'll get the call.
After automatic review by the command center, it's determined it is Ottawa's ball, last touch, first down.
So did he or not? Yeah, he. There's a what a reaction from Mario Alford. Yeah, I was hoping, but no.
Blitz off the edge here. Crum has to get rid of it. Quickly throws into traffic. Great call that time by the Riders D as they blitzed right into the face of Crum. It was Derek Moncrief getting the pressure.
Yeah, Corte Moore is also going to be there with him. So Corte Moore is right to the right of your screen here. He's coming off, but outside of him, so there's no way to get to him from the tackle. There you go, is Derek Moncrief.
Ottawa Red Blacks last in the CFL, coming away with touchdowns here inside the score zone, inside the 20. Just 27% of the time they get a major. Crum thought about sending it deep into the back of the end zone, tries to run away and brought down Anthony Lanier.
Got Anthony Lanier playing out there at the tackle, or defensive end position, I should say. He normally is a D tackle, but he is out there at the defensive end position, and he's going to hustle. This is a hustle play. Get upfield, he does an inside move, and he kind of cuts his own teammate off in Miles Brown, and then just keeps working at it, and as Crum starts to bounce outside, he catches him from behind.
Got a chance to see Lewis Ward put foot to ball here once again through the uprights. We are knotted up at 7. 12:43 remaining in the first half of action. The second sack of the season for Anthony Lanier. Battling through, finding Crum and bringing him down. .74 yards, followed it up with 144. Touchdown Atlantic last week. The one throw that Mason Fine said he wishes he had back was the interception, looking for Sean Bain, but man, when he gets it in his hands, he's electric.
Yeah, pretty fun to watch. He and Tevin Jones leading the way coming in to the week of games in the entire CFL.
Fine goes their direction here, loads it up quickly, gets it outside. Tevin Jones, stiff arm down the sideline. It's pushed out of bounds right at the 55. There's Bain again, 41 catches coming into the ball game here, 221 yards after the catch already this season. It's just crazy.
First time in 16 years. You mentioned the back-to-back 10 catches. 2 games in a row for Bain where he's over 10. Last guy to do that, pretty good player.
Yep.
Ben Cahoon.
Nice chunk for Tevin Jones on first down. Red Blacks defense digs in. Good running lane this time. Jamal Morrow churning the legs. Bryce Carter, first man to make contact, but not until Morrow was at least 7 or 8 yards down the field.
You know, this is the #1 ranked team against the run defensively, the Ottawa REDBLACKS, and going into this week of games, Toronto was #2. But I think all the teams and all the OCs in the league have watched that Calgary game against Toronto, who were second in the league against the run and had a great front seven.
Morrow bends this one back, puts the head down. Terrell Brooks comes down from his boundary halfback spot to answer the call, and Brooks feeling it a little bit.
I bring it up because Morrow had the best game until that Calgary game with Dedrick Mills at 137 against the Toronto front seven that was ranked #2 against the run.
Fine, takes a deep shot over the top to Jones. 1-on-1, flag comes out. They'll call pass interference. They're going after the first-year CFLer Josh Valentine Turner.
Yeah, he's playing. This is another matchup we wanted to watch because he's playing for Brandon Danbridge.
Pass interference, Ottawa number 39. Automatic first down.
Danbridge is out due to injury. Not sure how long. We see the grab and a little push. Now, Tevin Jones did a nice job of, you know, like, I won't say embellishing, but just making it very obvious that he got pushed and grabbed. But they're going to test him.
See if they go back to Jones against Valentine Turner here. Blitz look from the Red Blacks. Will they send it? They do. Fine has to backpedal out of it off his back foot. Throws it up. Nobody home. Miscommunication again. Looking for his top 2 receivers.
Yeah, it's got to be a hot adjustment. He saw the full blitz coming. He had to retreat. And so what are these 2 guys down here? Is there an adjustment that you see, or are they just going to run their routes? Fine didn't have time.
2nd and 10 from the 12. We'll go with Bain and Jones into the boundary at the bottom of your screen. Send Morrow out that way as well. Fine. Flips it to the wide side, stepping out of bounds. It's Samuel Emelis making his first grab of the ball game, 25th of the season.
That was a good read by Mason Fine, and I'll tell you why, because he wanted Morrow on that little route over the middle. He released him out of the backfield, but Douglas Coleman had rolled back from the opposite side of the field. So Morrow comes out here and he wants to go there, and that's the touchdown throw that he wanted. But look there, that's Coleman that drops right into that throwing lane. Fine recognizes it and doesn't throw it into trouble.
Brett Lowther hasn't missed inside 35 yards since week 1. And this one just an easy chip shot. Hammers it through. The roller coaster ride continues for the Ottawa REDBLACKS. Everybody in Saskatchewan having some fun. Corn dogs. But he's always talking smack, always having fun, but they'd like to get him going statistically. He's got 4 games this season with only 2 catches. You can see the drop-off from last year. They did move him from the boundary over to the field side, but I wonder if there's anything else that's been hampering him throughout this season, because this is a little strange.
Yeah, took some shots to him already in this game, so clearly wanting to get him going, and he made a real nice catch in his 1 catch so far tonight.
1st and 10, Dustin Crum hands it off inside. Good push from that offensive line. It'll be a gain of 6 or 7 on the play. As we get a look at the work of Jalen Acklin from earlier on here this evening. Again, he's only had 1 pass attempt of 20 yards or more in the last 6 weeks. They got to start doing more of this to stretch the field.
Just a great reaction and finding the ball, just tracking the football like an outfielder and center fielder in baseball, and coming up with the catch. That's what he's capable of, and that's why he's a weapon that's been underutilized.
Max protection here for Crum. Goes into the slot. This one completed, but it looks like, again, it's short of the sticks. Nate Behar gets up disappointed as he looks at where the first down marker is, and Richie Leone has to trot off the sideline here. A 2-and-out for the Riders defense.
Yeah, Behar was working in tandem with Jalen Acklin on that last one, and just got maybe a little impatient and broke off his route a little early. You think number 2 wants to make up for the 3 points he gave up on the fumble?
6 kick return touchdowns in 18 games with the Riders. There's Mario Alford. Bit of a rush. Leone gets it away clean. He'll catch it at his own 15-yard line and down the field. Great coverage that time. It's Kevin Francis. Sensational. And thanks to viewers on TSN1 joining us from the Wyndham Championship as Lucas Glover goes on to win with a final round of 2 under, just like Canadian Adam Svensson, but Glover seals the deal, 20 under, and takes home the prize pot in the PGA this week. There's lots on the line here in week number 9, rounding things out between Ottawa and Saskatchewan. 1st and 10, Mason Fine. Looking for that stretch run to the outside. Morrow trying to find anywhere to be able to find some running room, unable to do so. As that rush defense from the Red Blacks, first in the CFL, only allowing 60 yards per game.
Just a nice job by Javon Santos-Knox to scrape to the football there. I mean, he got some help from his D-line, and Santos-Knox just great linebacker play getting there in the hole.
Knocking off some of the rust as he missed the first 2 months really of the season. Returned last Friday against his old team, the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Great pressure on here from the Red Blacks. Fine gets it away to the outside. Great throw right at the sticks. It's Sean Bain Jr. First down, Riders.
He had to climb out of the hole on that break. He got to the break point, and then Fine, with pressure coming around on a stunt from Javon Santos-Knox, he has to dig here. Dig that extra 2 steps. Get out of the hole and get there, because Fine's throwing him to the sideline. That tipped off his mask, too.
Pulls it in just enough. They took a look at it for a moment, hesitated, and then moved the sticks. Fake the run here. Fine by himself. Leans back, finds Jake Winnipeg. One-on-one with Justin Howell. And Howell brings him down, but a gain of 17 off the back foot of Mason Fine.
Yeah, I like the way he's retreating and still being able to be accurate on these throws, because it's very tough to blitz. If you're not going to throw hot, then you can retreat as long as you can stay accurate, throw from that back foot. With Fine, which Fine is doing so far tonight.
Fine 8 for 10. Over 100 yards passing already. Asked Sean Bain this week about when he's at his best. He said leading the huddle and throwing sharp intermediate passes with accuracy. I'd agree. He's completing 85% of passes between 10 and 20 yards down the field. Adds another there. Now he'll look over the top. It's Emelis. Oh, he can't stay in bounds. Thought they might have had him.
He's in the hole in the 3 deep zone defense. It looked like there was over the top coverage, and underneath here, this is the under guy over the top, basically a cloud coverage it's called in the defense. It's just deep guy, and there's a small window right at around the 50-yard line, but Fine again under a little pressure, misses him.
About to play 2nd and 10 after the incompletion. Santos-Knox lines up to blitz off the edge. Fine goes the other direction, gets it out of his hands quickly, and that one complete to Stearns. The punting unit will have to come out for the Riders.
It was a good talk with Fine this week, and just now that he is, in charge and in control of this offense, exactly does he feel the pressure of being the starting quarterback now in this province, because it is a different pressure, I think, than any other province in the country. And he said, based on my time as being an undersized guy and all the outside noise I heard about that, people doubting me, I don't even bother. He goes, as long as my teammates I have their respect, I'm good.
My favorite thing was him just saying, nobody knows what I'm reading. Yeah. I'm just out there playing football, man. Doing the best I can. As Justin Hardy gets tackled on the punt return. missing that throw down the sideline to Samuel Emelis. 1 of 8 on those pass attempts of 20 yards or more down the field. Again, the intermediate stuff, not the problem whatsoever for Fine. Wants to dial in that deep ball a little bit more. Kelly Jeffrey, offensive coordinator, works with him. Meanwhile, Dustin Crum on the field with a fresh set of downs. Looks to the outside, completed. Shaq Evans makes the grab, crosses the 40, and out to the 48-yard line.
There's Shaq Evans, former Saskatchewan Roughrider. A little bang route, curl, and then push to the outside, and then turn around, get a little yak yards going after the catch.
There's Larry Dean making the tackle. He's got better tackle per game number than anyone in CFL history, not named Solomon Elimimian, Baron Simpson, or Willie Pless. Larry Dean all over the field once again here in week 9. To the outside, completed. Shaq makes another grab. He's got 7 games of 100 yards or more. That'd be a nice little return to Saskatchewan if he added an 8th to his career.
Well, exactly. And think about it in the big picture for Ottawa. I mean, if Jalen Acklin gets going, he's been real quiet all season. Shaq Evans gets his form back, and it looks like in this game so far tonight, it is returning to him, and timing is there. Looks like he's running his routes confidently, turned around and made a couple moves, got some yak yards there. So, well, all of a sudden, this receiving core looks pretty good. Nate Bahar in there, Justin Hardy as well. This is a good group.
Tyrell Pigram checks in. Yeah, Hardy leading the team in targets and catches. They can mix and match, be pretty dangerous. Want to just get the first down here. Pigram sacrifices himself. I don't know if I'd lean over the top against guys like Micah Johnson and Pete Robertson there. So it's, but
yeah,
Pigram's a little bit thicker than I am.
I hear you on the concern, but get it done.
Yeah.
If I'm your teammate, I'm saying get it done, man. I don't care who's over there. But hey, Shaq Evans gets his form back. He's a top receiver in the CFL. I mean, 25 catches, over 30 yards, 700-yard games as a Saskatchewan Roughrider for 4 years, and then was injured. You know, and then sometimes you come back a little early and you think you can go and you're not right and the timing is off, and it's been an uphill battle to get back in form for him, but he is a top guy in the league and he gets that form back.
Did not pick up the first down with that last lunge, so here we go again. 8 of 9 now on the season, in 3rd and short, just across the 55, and Pigram does find the soft spot. Anthony Lanier came firing through on the other side. Is plenty of whistles, and it looks like a flag. Not sure if it fell out of the official's pocket or if it was thrown after the play.
See any offside or early movement?
Cyril Hogan St. Don right there at the end of the play, going toe-to-toe.
After the play, there are 2 misconduct, unnecessary roughness fouls. Once again, one against Ottawa number 59, Saskatchewan 43. First down.
So it's Derek Moncrief and Cyril Hogan St. Don. So handing out the matching misconducts twice now in the trenches between those two. Hey, Cyril Hogan St. Don had a catch. The center for the Ottawa REDBLACKS when we were doing that Hamilton-Ottawa game last week. That was a wacky one, back and forth. But if he gets one more of those, he'll be gone from the ballgame. Already thin, moving bodies around in the pregame. Jacob Rubio to right tackle, Hunter Stewart to right guard. As Zach Pelios unable to go here tonight after warm-ups. Inside run. Also go for a minimal gain as Jackson Bennett gets into the fray with a touch, giving Devontae Williams a little spell.
One of the great tweeners in the game, and Derek Moncrief, who can cover man-to-man, but is linebacker type size at 225, 6'2", and is a playmaker. He'll sub in and out with C.J. Reeves.
Season high 6 tackles last week in Halifax for touchdown Atlantic. Deep drop from Crum. Down he goes. It's Lake Cordy Moore finishing it off as the REDBLACKS offensive line struggling to protect their big body quarterback, trying to get the football out. No chance on that one as the First round pick, 3rd overall at a UBC, celebrates in Regina.
Gridiron.
He needs more.
This is what he's up to these days.
He needs more.
Oh, your daughters will like
he
this.
He needs more.
There's not much that she's doing. Just so you know.
Hijinks with He Who Knocks coming up at halftime. Back in studio as after the sack.
Well, he did what Larry Dean just did many times. And he's still doing it.
Sends it away. Mario Alford lets this one bounce at the goal line, roll into the end zone.
Yeah, smart call.
And out the back.
Let me show you what Larry Dean did. And this is what Enoch Mwama's done a bunch. It's called show blitz. You look like you're going to blitz the quarterback, and then you drop right out of there. And he does that. Now, Corte Moore's going to come around, and he gets the sack. So good on Moore. It's his first in the CFL, but this takes away the hot route. You see how he dropped out of there, Larry Dean. He takes away the that inside Hardy route, and Corte Moore gets his first sack in the Canadian Football League. Go ahead and enjoy it.
Just an absolute stud at the CFL Combine in Edmonton this past spring. Couldn't be a nicer guy, too. Earned that 3rd overall pick. Interviewed great with all the teams. Riders ecstatic to get him in the first round. Mason fine. Ride decide, pulls it, flips it out. Justin Howell makes another tackle on the play, but not until Stearns makes the grab.
I just like the decision because Jamal Morrow, with a little success in this first half, has really drawn the attention of the Ottawa defense. It pulls them over a half a step or a step and a half, and that's just enough for Fine to pull it and then get it out to the throw option on that ride and decide play.
Fine in the gun. Jones and Bain to the top of your screen. His 2 leading receivers. Pressure on. Fine looks over the middle, looking for Jake Winneke. Battle right at the point of attack. Abdul Candace said, listen, man, he ran into me.
Yeah, they're both looking, weren't they? Got a good ISO look at it. This is Winneke, little outside stem, and then he's going back into the middle. And no, absolutely. I think the officials have done a nice job of pass interference here tonight. They're letting the guys play with a little bit of contact, a little bit of hand fighting. As long as it goes both ways and there's no obstruction to the route,
yep,
then let them play. I love it.
2-man return back here for the Red Blacks. They'll send back Tobias Harris. Looks like Justin Hardy back there as well, trying to get their leading receiver some more touches in the special teams game. Borsak, a little bit of pressure on. Picks it away, drops down to Harris, just inside his 20. Tries to bounce to the outside, makes 2-man miss, tries to flip the field, and nowhere to go. Riders coverage unit right there. It's coming up at halftime for you. It will be Kate and the gang back in studio.
Remember Mwamba's pick in the Grey Cup?
Couldn't forget it on this field. Should have had 2, though, Enoch.
Yeah.
Should have had 2.
Should have had 2, but that was a big one. The one he did have was a game changer.
Here I am nitpicking the guy who was standing in the end zone holding every trophy that existed at the end of last season. What a beautiful moment, holding his daughter, crying on the stage. Wonderful to see him. Looking forward to his analysis alongside the rest of the crew coming up at halftime. See how aggressive Ottawa is here. They begin with a little inside run. Inside 2 minutes remaining.
You know, interesting, I haven't really seen the Saskatchewan defense go with spy technique. When Crum played against Calgary, Cam Judge was assigned to spy him. But and that's good defensively to track down a running quarterback. However, it also voids a zone. So Jason Shivers is not really doing that in this first half. Played a little show blitz, trying to maybe surprise him there, but no real spy.
Second and long. Crum loads it up and gets blasted. Brought down Anthony Lanier, gets another. Crum had been sacked 21 times coming in. Count them up, 22, 23, 24. 3 in the first half.
Yeah, spy technique is going to void a zone, so quarterbacks will then have an open zone, and on a 65-yard wide field, that can be tough to defend against. But if you just play true and your guys are dropping back and they're covering down those zones, and then you can go with 4-man pressure and Lanier gets home, your DC likes it.
2 and outs on 3 of their last 4 possessions for the Ottawa REDBLACKS, stumbling their way towards halftime here in Regina. Big kick from Leone once again. Kevin Francis down the field, and he'll get the special teams tackle, his 2nd of the ball game and 3rd of the season.
This cover team for Ottawa so far in the first half, another part of this story, because Alford has had nowhere to go.
Yeah, opponent punt return average just 8.7 yards on the season. These coverage units for Ottawa have been outstanding. Kickoff returns, punt returns, they shut them down. They haven't allowed a big return going against them as well. No touchdowns scored in the return game against the REDBLACKS. Bright spot for them on specials. They'd like to see a little bit more of the 4th quarter magic from Crum and company earlier than the 4th quarter. Mason Fine. Again, a blitz from the REDBLACKS underneath. Great read that time by Fine. Gets it out quickly. Stearns crosses the 55 all the way down to the 47-yard line of the REDBLACKS.
Jared Stearns making an impact in this first half, getting his first game in the CFL, had big numbers in the NCAA at Western Kentucky in his senior year, and so he's used to the spotlight and understands, looking really forward to this opportunity. Braden Lenius is watching this. It's just gone through surgery for the same injury that Nathan Rourke had last year. So he'll be on the 6-game injured list, and Stearns is getting a chance to play.
Grabbing the lower back there, Abdul Kana, maybe a little bit of a stinger, so the training staff will take a close look at him, take all precautions. But yeah, Western Kentucky coming in there. He was playing with a guy in Bailey Zappi that was setting records all over the place, so it makes sense that his primary target was, well, I don't know, first, tied first. I mean, this is major Division I football, FBS ranks, and he was absolutely producing.
Almost 2,000 yards. I mean, that's off the charts great. So real excited about this opportunity to go out and prove that, and show the entire league, not just his own coaching staff, but the entire league, that he can be a playmaker.
We talk about Sean Bain in this receiving core having 10 catches in back-to-back weeks. Stats man extraordinaire, John Perlborg and I pregame, we're sitting here and going, he played in 14 games and had 150 catches? 150 in a single season. I said, John, what is that as an average? About 10.7 per game.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, just off the hook numbers. And to me, it doesn't matter what division you're in, but play Div 1 and do it, that's incredible. But if you're catching 10 passes a game in Div 3, incredible. If you're catching it in U Sports, unbelievable. I mean, it's just, that's a lot of catches per game.
Trying to make sure that the head and neck of Abdul Kana is in good shape there as he's trying to get back up onto his feet slowly, as we get a look at it here. And tweaked at the end of the play. Doesn't look like much in slow-mo, but you know this, Suits. That's, you feel them all.
It's weird. You know, sometimes it doesn't look like anything, and it can put a guy on the 6th game really quick, and sometimes there's these massive collisions and both guys jump up and they're fine. So you just never know.
Fitting,
looks like he'll be okay.
Fitting too, just to tie a bow on the Stearns note here, that all those NCAA marks on the other side. Justin Hardy, when he was at Eastern Carolina, led the NCAA in all-time receiving. Some of the very best from Division I competing in this one. Fine looks to throw. Tevin Jones knocked down. Javon Santos Knox firing in from his middle linebacker spot.
Having a good first half. Javon Santos Knox. You see Mason Fine kind of locks in, but it's a hot route, so he's just getting it, trying to lead Tevin Jones into the middle there, and that was a real nice timed up blitz from Santos Knox.
Might have been a track meet outside with Tevin Jones if that one gets completed.
Absolutely.
It was an isolated matchup. Hard count. And Santos Knox, for all his good work on the knockdown, is going to give up some yardage here for the least penalized defense in the CFL.
Offside. Ottawa number 5. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Yeah, I'm going to give Kelly Jeffrey some credit there. I mean, he saw the timing from Santos Knox, and I bet he called a hard count to Mason Fine on the next play. So if they're going to time up their blitz and try and hit us on, usually first sound, let's hard count it and see if we catch them offside.
The Ottawa REDBLACKS on the season, just 5.7 penalties per game. They've got 5 already here tonight in the first half. Fine loads it up, gets it outside on second down, very close to the first down for Samuel Emlis, who leads the team in second down conversion catches with 10 coming in.
I think he's got enough, or he'll be very close, enough that he is over the 40. I think they're going to bring him in, bring in the sticks and take a good look at this. But short yardage time anyway, if you're Saskatchewan.
Rod Baltimore making the play is Santos Knox immediately arguing with the spot of the football before they even spotted it.
Yeah. Well, it looked pretty true. It was forward progress, of course. You run a curl and you get hit from behind, you get that forward progress.
Oh, this way, get the line down! Down!
Just short.
Pull him tight.
Hold on. Grab it! Hold on.
Don't have to get the Gene Steratore cue cards out on that one. Well, they'll mark it off, and in comes Jake Dolagala, one of the underrated heroes for the Riders in this first half, as they hold on to a 2-point advantage inside the final minute, as he lined up like he was going to be the holder, and they decided to go with the short yardage unit. And Dolagala plunged his way forward, and on the next play, Jamal Morrow, not the only major so far of the ball game.
Concern there from Craig Dickens. I think it's mostly because you're using up time here to get the couple of inches to get a new set.
Dolagala leans forward. Big body out of Central Connecticut, all 6'7", 242 pounds, picks it up. I'll stop the clock, reset the chains with the first down, and see how aggressive Mason Fine is here, trying to take a shot to the end zone in the final minute.
Yeah, he hustled out. He hustled out to get his offense lined up as quickly as possible, because they're going to blow it in and start the clock, and he's got time to think major still. Probably 4 plays before the end of the half, if he's efficient.
Quick game, slant throw, and it is complete. Once again, that is Bain. Down to the 30-yard line here. He's second and short. Wonder if they'll just play fast and decide to leave the offense on the way it is. They will. Bain and Tevin Jones to the top of your screen. This time inside. Oh, they fake the run. Outside, Mason Fine slots down. Faked me out there. Suits, I thought that it was free running down the middle for Jamal Morrow.
Yeah, it was. In fact, the Ottawa defense kind of froze. That's how clean the fake was. Watch it to your left of your screen. Here's a fake inside, pulled by Mason Fine. He gets out around the edge. Hook slides to save some time with the tackle coming.
Just 1 carry on the season for 24 yards before that one. Fine, 0-2 as a starter here in Saskatchewan this year. Trying to get a home victory. Nice score at the end of the half would help. They get it out to Bain Jr. Adds to his tally, steps out of bounds.
Well, now you're in a position, if you're Saskatchewan, take a couple of shots at the end zone here. Probably you put a single receiver into the boundary and go fade. Doesn't take a whole lot of time off the clock, but still get a first down with maybe 2 plays left.
Hands on the hips here for the REDBLACKS defense. Justin Howell roaming the back end. He knows Fine wants to take a shot at some point in the next couple plays. Pressure on. Fine stands in, flips it to the end zone, incomplete. Knocked away from Bain as Carriel Brooks was there on the coverage, and some whistles at the end of the play, and a REDBLACKS player jumps to his feet into Tim Croker's lap.
Do you see any flags? Because I don't see a flag.
So.
They're just
warning whistles. Yeah,
warning whistle. Breaking them up. And that was the shot, the corner route. Well, now there is a late flag. "15 seconds, you can run 1 play to the end zone and still kick a field goal if it's not successful.
And the game story could significantly be changed here.
Well, Javon Santos-Knox was not happy.
Bob Dice, head coach of the Red Blacks, talking it through as well.
One of his teammates. This is the least penalized team in the league, as you mentioned. It's a carry out. It's a carry out Brooks.
The word we're getting from field levels, it sounds like there was some criticism of the officiating.
Well, I'm speculating here, but Santos-Knox was unhappy with carry out Brooks.
There's no flag on the play. It's third down.
So they didn't like the way it was unfolding. Through the flag, Santos-Knox rips into Carriel Brooks.
Yeah.
Everyone learns their learns their lesson.
Yeah, we gotta
pick up the flag.
Yeah, we gotta stop doing that. I'll just leave it at that.
And Craig Dickinson was hoping he was going to have a fresh set of downs deep inside Ottawa territory.
It's either a flag or it's not a flag. If it's close, don't throw your flag. There's the simple mandate.
So the criticism not colorful enough to warrant the flag. And Brett Lowther will hammer one through, extending the Riders' lead here at the end of the first half. And Bob Dice, regardless of whether or not that was a penalty, you have to be a little bit concerned for a team that you say suits his discipline's not an issue with this club.
No,
with him as the head coach, certainly. And tonight, that's been a little bit in question in this first half.
Yeah, no, and it won't be. I mean, I'm sure they'll remind each other about it, and Coach Dice will go in and talk to his team about, just those extra pushes and things after the whistle are over going to cost you in the end. The spotlight will find the guy who's doing that. Simple as that.
Dustin Crum with a dozen seconds remaining in the first half. He will throw. Lots of time. Finally decides to check it down underneath to Williams. His one-man miss, can't make the second.
Maybe this is just Dustin Crum's strategy. Keep it a one-possession game. Get to the final 3 minutes, and then just put the team on his shoulder. Good idea here. Just get in at halftime. No one gets hurt. Away you go.
And that will do it for the first half of action. The Ottawa REDBLACKS certainly left a little bit on the table offensively. Like to sort out some of those score zone issues. Back into rhythm with this offense as Mario Alford stands back. Lost a fumble in that first half, but Ottawa unable to take advantage. Similar theme that they had last Friday against the Hamilton Tiger Cats in a loss. They want to get a win here on the road to continue their successful ways against the West Division as this one gets returned out close to the 40-yard line. We get a look at Mason Fine in his first half of action.
Yeah, I would agree with the panel, like whether it was blitz that Ottawa would send or whether it was, dropping in zones, some show blitz and trying to fool the young quarterbacks. Both teams are doing that tonight, and Mason Fine had a very good first half and avoided pressure, didn't make the big mistake. Got a newcomer going too in Stearns.
Just to see Stearns contributing right away with so many injured receivers here in Saskatchewan. They'll fake the run, begin with a throw, and there he is. Stearns breaking away from the tackle at the 45, gets an extra 13 yards after the catch.
Key on that play, it's such a short curl on the right and side play, the RPO, and Stearns, the key for him to break that tackle is a wide base. He catches that little curl, and then you turn with the wide base of the receiver and get your feet planted so that you can fight off that play or that tackle and make the play.
1,900 yards in his final season at Western Kentucky. He's got 66 here tonight. High catch, Sean Bain paid the price against one of the hardest hitting halfbacks in the CFL, Carriel Brooks, but Bain holds on.
Yeah, he had to go up and get it. Showed great courage doing it. And the timing on that hit, very good from Brooks. It's a good football play all around.
Brooks brought the hammer so many times for Hamilton. Start of his CFL career, signing in free agency here with the Ottawa REDBLACKS. His big tackle made that time in second and short.
Yeah, as you mentioned, some shuffling in the secondary. So it was something we were looking at. Carriel Brooks getting the start at the halfback spot tonight. Here's another look at that big hit. Justin Howell returning to the lineup at free safety, and Valentine Turner playing for Dandridge on the corner. But so far pretty good. As I mentioned, Mason Fines had a good half, but only the one touchdown was rushing from Jamal Morrow.
Shuffling on the back end. We'll see where Mason Fine attacks. Vertical shot. Bain down the field. Hangs it up. Drops it in. Touchdown Riders.
You said it, Marshall, in the first half when we asked Sean Bain, what route do you like best against man? He goes, I just want to go. Just give me the go route. He just tracked that one down, but a real nice drop in the bucket throw from Fine. And Sean Bain went and got it.
Big shot play down the field for the Riders coming into tonight's game. Mason Fine, the deep ball, 20 yards or more in the air. Just 3 of 14, just 21% completion rate on these kinds of plays. Who are you going to call? Sean Bain into the end zone. Riders start the third quarter with a bang. Of the CFL season, having a big year here since signing from Calgary free agency. Just gets on top there, suits little hand, finding a little separation.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that's clean and that good. No call by the officials to just let them play, and got in behind, but there was something very subtle in it as well, which was to fade away on that deep route. Don't run just a straight line, fade away towards the sideline. I'll show you that shortly.
A nice ball placement by Mason Fine as well. This one sent down to the 15-yard line. Ottawa returns it. It's Jackson Bennett spinning at the 40-yard line, wrapped up and brought down.
Let me show you what I mean about that go route. You know, go route is a straight go route, but there's subtleties to it. And I'll just track Sean Bain on this throw and watch how he's fading away towards the sideline. Fade away to fade away, because his quarterback wants to throw it over that outside shoulder, so where only he can get it and not the defender and Brooks. Well executed play top to bottom.
Well, some teams around the CFL call that slot fade a strike. That's what Mason Fine threw right there for the touchdown. 42 yards to the end zone. Then Dustin Crum answered. This REDBLACKS offense, tackle for loss right out of the gates. Pete Robertson adds another to his season tally.
Yeah, and I would agree with the panel on the Saskatchewan defense in the first half, playing, you know, their base stuff and not having to spy Dustin Crum, but keeping him in the pocket. I think Milt said keeping him in the pocket and also getting pressure on him with a few sacks. So, you know, when they're doing that, they're just still playing their base defenses and make the play on the run like they did there.
Dustin Crum, 13 of 22 last week, no touchdowns and an interception. Now on second and long, a flag comes up. He steps up against the pressure, checks it back down underneath. It is complete. A decent little run that time from the fullback, Anthony Gosselin, who gets up and says, first down? I'll have to check the flag.
When you don't get a lot of touches, you hate when there's finally a touch and then there's a flag and you're like, well, come on.
Now that would be
procedure, legal formation against Ottawa. It's a 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Yeah, they did they had their O-line bowed back. I think there's one rider down. We'll see Pete Robertson.
3-game sack streak going right now. Just had the tackle for loss, banged up on that one. Would have been the first catch of the year for Anthony Gosselin, but wipe it off the board with the legal formation as Robertson back up onto his feet.
Yeah, it looks like he'll be okay. There he is down in his track stance. Off the edge there on Jacob Ruby. Again, Jacob Ruby has moved to tackle. Jake Pelios was sick today and this morning, and they tried to get him through warm-up. Didn't work out, and so they moved Ruby out to tackle. And they played Hunter Stewart at guard.
It's Anthony Lanier in there with Micah Johnson, Charbel DeBuyer, and Lake Cordy Moore. His first CFL sack in the game for the injured Pete Robertson. Meanwhile, Dustin Crum, another check down underneath Williams. Being asked to do a lot on 2nd and 18. This Ottawa offense is starting to become a little bit predictable, Suits.
Well, Lake Corte Moore does a nice job here because, again, Jason Shiver's not really spying, but he goes with 3-man pressure and drops Corte Moore. So Corte Moore is actually going to react to this and look, play linebacker. Pretty nice when you got a backup defensive lineman in the rotation, but he can also show you some quickness there on a tackle in the open field.
Richie Leone, one of the busiest men wearing red and white here this evening. Set to boot this one away. Some pressure on, gets it away. Bangs high down to Mario Alford inside his 20. Coverage unit right there again. Wow. Larry Johnson Jr., Kevin Francis working their way on specials. Well, that man's working his way into the end zone. More on him when we return.
To buy the winner a watch. He didn't tell me what the price range of this watch was, but I'm just going to go ahead and guess that you don't want to be on the losing end of that, guys.
Yeah, what are we talking, like dollar store watch? Or
No, I think it'd be more than that. And just for the record, Bain has taken the lead in the Yak Yard department. He's at 228 on the season. Reggie Bagleton in Calgary, 222. This is going to be a tight race.
Run this time from Jamal Morrow. He'll earn himself a nice watch if he keeps running like this the remainder of the season. But yeah, there is the friendly competition. You see it yards after. And right now, Reggie Bagleton is sitting at home watching that board come up, steam just shooting out of the ears.
Yeah, but this is good, though. This is really cool because I like how they did it Yak yards after the catch. So it's not about, I ran a good go route and the quarterback hit me in stride.
On the ground. Picked up. Bryce Carter's got it. Mason Fine lost the exchange in the backfield. Didn't know whether to give it or keep it. And it's a turnover as Fine feeling his left hand, but Bryce Carter, with 5 sacks on the season, gets a big defensive play for the Red Blacks.
It's such a timing, precise exchange right here. How long does the quarterback hold it in the stomach? The ride and decide. How long does he ride it before he pulls it? Mason Fine's got to ride it, make the read, and either pull it a little earlier or just leave it for Jamal Morrow. He kind of grabbed it. That's why his hand was sore.
Points off turnovers. The Red Blacks have 49 on the season. They'd love to add another 7 right here. Get back in this ball game. Wow. But it's another sack running around that right edge. It's a trifecta of takedowns for Anthony Lanier.
Anthony Lanier is working one-on-one on Jacob Ruby, and he's got a wide go at it here. He's forcing Ruby to step out, try and hold with him with his pass pro technique, and he just doesn't have the quick enough feet to get to Lanier off the edge. He went around the corner, around the horn, and gets home.
A 3-game sack streak coming in. 4 on the season, led the Riders. He is extending that lead in big ways. And now Ruby, a little bit unsettled by the pressure of Lanier.
And that was just 3-man, showing 3-man pressure.
Number 54. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Boy, late scratch, just kind of putting a spotlight, and it's tough on Ruby. In all fairness, I mean, Jacob Ruby's played guard all season, and now in the last second, he's trying to get the new assignments and new technique down, and it's completely different playing tackle with a right-handed quarterback, and you're playing that right side tackle, and you're going against Lanier. That's tough.
In the noise, a little bit further away from the quarterback. Calling for the snap here. They'll go max protection, keep the backs in, now flip it out, check down. It's Williams with a blocker on the edge. It runs through contact. Micah Tight's the first man there. Larry Dean finishes the job as always.
Well, that time Jacob Ruby did a nice job forcing Lanier kind of into the middle. In the end, it would have to be checked down anyway, but boy, that's awful tough to have that assignment. Now, oh, by the way, you're not a guard, you're a tackle. It's a little bit like telling a free safety, by the way, you're not a free safety, you're a quarterback tonight.
Lewis Ward steps through this one smoothly. They do add to that points off turnover number on the year with the Bryce Carter takeaway there, playing the zone read, but the defense for the Riders bails out their quarterback, Anthony.
History itself.
Oh, there he is. Kermit's in the house. Be a Riders home game without Kermit. Make the run. Fine. Loads it up outside. Up in the air. Going and getting it. Rob Baltimore will finally touch down Samuel Emelis, but Mason Fine coming out after that botched exchange in the backfield with Jamal Morrow, taking a shot down the field for a first down.
Real nice protection for Fine, and look at that route running by Sam Emelis, just like he was going to the corner and he had Baltimore all twisted and turned around to a point where he was on the ground and stumbled.
Backup fullback Bruno LaBelle checks into the ball game here.
And that's a veteran corner out there.
Lines up as a tight end to the top of your screen. I'll fake the run. Max protect. Fine gets blasted as he throws into traffic. Incomplete. He was looking for Bain to go and get another major.
Haven't talked a whole lot about Lorenzo Malden, but he certainly can't keep him down long. I mean, okay.
Running through it that time on Fine. Hard count and close out. Can't keep him down, and you also can't keep him off the line of scrimmage.
Well, he's pointing like he saw a little Eric Lofton movement, but those guys up front on defense, they're twitchy. They're like any sort of sudden movement.
Offside. Ottawa number 94. 5-yard penalty. It remains second down.
He got so close on the last one on Fine, he just got out of his stance. He's right down here at the bottom. And let's see, does Lofton gives it that right hand? He hasn't. No, that's clearly 94.
It's interesting this week you heard Bob Dice say that he's actually using Tiger Cats coaching tape of Lorenzo Malden when he was on specials and pointing out guys and saying, hey, you want to be a starter in this league? Do this. Go ahead and do this. Make sure you're all over the field on specials. Lozo lines up at the end here, trying to put pressure on. Pump down the left sideline. Emelis up against Baltimore, and Emelis gets it. Inside the 10. Jump ball. All his.
Malden crashed down with the play action, and that allowed for a huge throwing lane outside for Mason Fine. He had lots of clear vision to get it down and put it right where he wanted to. And again, leading to the outside shoulder, but watch Emelis track it, high point it, and rip it down. Baltimore gets up, shaking his head after this one.
37 big ones for Emelis. First round pick back in 2022. 7th overall by the Riders. Line. Hands it off inside. Moreau stacked up right in the middle of that defense. Cleon Lang at the bottom of the pile for the Red Blacks.
Let's go back to Emelis. Just show you that just great athletic move. Canadian spot on offense, and just very difficult. He makes it look easy and routine, but his quarterback appreciates that adjustment to the football.
Albertawachi, the fullback in here for the Riders. Some confusion with the motion. Snap came up, Fine fades away, just throws it up. Jake Winicky, and that could have been disastrous.
Well, it still might be for Fine. He's slow to get up because that was some confusion in the back field where Awachi and Jamal Morrow didn't know who to block, and they were sending pressure. They knew where they're going to get it. You're going to get pressure most of the time when you're inside the 20-yard line, but watch Morrow here, and you're going to see Awachi come into it too. But here comes Awachi. He's going, no, you got to go over there. Well, who do I got? Well, you got the guy that just went right at Fine.
Left side of the offensive line never came up. So Brett Lather comes out. Missed opportunity here for the Riders offensively. They do knock it through. Back and forth, up and down we go. The number of rushing yards, yes, but there's so many different ways to judge a quarterback running and how incredible he's been, but we really haven't seen much of it here tonight.
No, we haven't. That's his pace, by the way, you know, with his starts to date, and then if he continues to start the rest of the year, not if he played 18 games. If he played 18 games, he'd be over 1,500 rushing, but not tonight. Just 3 carries for 13 yards, and again, no spy technique from the Saskatchewan defense.
Against the noise here, Regina hands it off. Dante Williams will stutter step through the hole, and he'll pick up a first down on first down. Big collision at the end of the play, and a flag comes out late.
I like Devontae Williams' chin guard. His chin strap. I like what he's done with it.
Misconduct foul, objectionable conduct. Saskatchewan number 3. 10 yards after the play, it's first down.
Yeah, Nick Marshall tried to rip the ball out as he was on the ground, and it looked like he almost swung at him.
Well, Williams on Williams there on the tackle. A.J. Allen, leading special teamer, wrapping up Devontae Williams from behind, but Nick Marshall went popping for it. You like the?
I like the chin strap, man.
Yeah, the explanation.
Marshall's going, come on, I was just trying to push the ball. He was down.
With the running game, they open it up on first down. This one going sideways. Nowhere to go for Devontae.
Southeast Louisiana, Devontae Williams. Yeah, look at the chin strap he's done. I think that's the way you got to lean into it. Lean into the country you're in, and who knows, maybe Williams becomes one of those imports that bring their family up, end up staying here, making a life in Canada. It's one of the great things about Canadian football.
Dustin Crum, 2nd and 10. 7-man protection, pumps, trouble! Down he goes! Charbel DeBuyer gets home this time. And the Ottawa REDBLACKS offense struggling to protect, but certainly holding on to the football. Bit of a challenge right now for Dustin Crum.
Yeah, they're just playing basic cover 2 over the top, and you take a look at this coverage. You got 2 guys deep over the top, and watch where Crum is looking. I got to find an open receiver. I got 4 guys in routes, and it's man underneath, double covered up top, nowhere to go with the ball.
Rioni sends the punt away, and Mario Alford lets it bounce at the 5. Picks it up, tries to get to the outside, wrapped up. Coverage unit right there once again. Anthony Gosselin down the field. And time now for our Coors Light moment of chill. What were we doing at halftime?
Okay, I'm not sure, like, if they're rams or lambs or what they are, but the young kids were going to go ride the road. That was a couple seconds. Got a couple on there. 8 seconds is the goal, I think, when you're bucking. But these guys can run a little bit, though. You got to look at this.
Look at the stride.
Style. Yeah, I like it.
Did they catch it or still loose?
That one got away on us. We haven't found that one yet.
Still loose somewhere out there. We'll find it. Mason Fine trying to find his game right now. Steps forward, avoids pressure, and picking up what he can. Nice little play that time. Could have been a disaster for the Riders, leading by 12.
Yeah, exactly. That's just a good decision by Mason Fine. This is a young guy, and with the game going on, and you got to be aware of the situation you're in. And he just that imaginary clock in his head was running out, and he said, "I'm in the end zone right now," and got out of there. So he avoids a safety.
Douglas Coleman looking for his 4th sack of the season. And Nickel blitzing off the edge. He'll do the same again here. This time they go run. Off that right-hand side, Javon Santos Knox fired up coming out of the pile.
Boy, they're looking over there like they want to go for this.
And Mason Fines saying, hey, just wait a minute. Don't send him out yet. Oh,
Yeah, you're exactly right, Marshall. I think both Mason Fine and a couple of the other guys on offense were saying, you know, we're only a yard away here, coach. But look where they are on the field. I mean, should be good field position for Ottawa here, and the 3rd quarter winds down.
See whether or not they can access the legs of Dustin Crum again. 3 carries, 13 yards at this point in the ball game. This one hammered by Korsak. Chases Tobias Harris back inside his own 50. Going horizontal, crosses midfield, gets to the edge. Trying to outrun the angle. And Korsak will absorb Harris as he rides him out of bounds, but great field position here for the Ottawa REDBLACKS.
Yeah, it was hit so hard that it outkicked the coverage a little bit, but they're working on the, looks like the ankle or maybe knee of Mason Fine. He came off after that 2nd down play. I think this is where he got caught. When he ran out of the end zone, this is where he tweaked something.
And wrapped up and brought down. Meanwhile, Dustin Crum, he'll operate from the right hash. Hands it off. Back to the ground game. Devontae Williams. And Mason Fine continuing to get worked on as Hunter Stewart is slow to his feet, offensive lineman for the REDBLACKS filling in at right guard.
Already thin. This is where Fine got tackled. But they were working on it on the sideline, but I don't see Jake Dolagallo warming up or getting ready. Doesn't look like it's too bad.
And Hunter Stewart, the 10-year veteran, 1st-round pick back all the way in 2013 for the BC Lions, got rolled up on at the end of that play.
And he was blocking Larry Dean, and he was crossing the field, and the pile was created right in front of him. It was a tackle by Micah Tights. And as he jumped over that tackle,
Head coach Bobby Dice comes out to see his veteran.
just follow him. He's the right guard. He's going to get down the field, try to get to the next level, which is Larry Dean, and then watch, he has to jump here and look like his ankle may be twisted as he jumped over Tights.
Bay Ridge secondary graduate, same high school as Lewis Ward.
Did he just walk off the field and say, "I'm okay, it's a long way from my heart"?
That would be very Hunter Stewart.
He did say, he said, "I'm okay." Just try to walk it off.
We get a look at Eric Starczala. Again, the lineup changes here tonight. Zach Pelios, right tackle, couldn't go. They moved Jacob Ruby out to that right tackle spot. Hunter Stewart to right guard, and they dress Starczala, but Starczala's in the game against the defensive line that's got 5 sacks in the ball game on Dustin Crum. 2nd and 3, slashing from the backside. Wow. You called him one of the best tweeners in the CFL earlier. Derek Moncrief delivers.
Yeah, and you know, one of the guys that has made Regina his home. And, you know, he comes up from the States like a lot of players do, and he comes around the edge here, and you're right, he crashes out, he plays the play, he gets in the backfield, and wow, knockout blow.
Justin Hardy just a step too slow, trying to track it down. Seal that back edge on 2nd and 3. Lewis Ward comes back out. Tries to chip back into the Saskatchewan Roughriders lead. He will on the final play of the third quarter. A lot of field goals for the Ottawa REDBLACKS, not able to convert. The good news, if you're a REDBLACKS fan, plus 18-point differential in the fourth quarter this season, second to only the BC Lions. Is there more Crum magic, or could the Riders get a home win? We'll find out. Quarter here in week number 9 of the CFL season. 18 first downs for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, just 7 for the REDBLACKS. The rushing yards, you see it. Still the advantage to Ottawa, but not what we've seen Glenn Suter, especially in the quarterback running game. And you'd have to think if they're going to come back again as they have over the last month, it's going to be with the legs of their quarterback, because the passing game just not doing it right now.
Well, he's only run 3 times for 13 yards, so they've contained him pretty well when it comes to Dustin Crum. But this kind of plays to his script, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
In 3 starts, he just, you know, they hang around, they stay within a possession or 2, and then they push in the fourth quarter for the big dramatic come from behind win. Remember, it was inside of 3 minutes. They were down to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers by 16 points and came back and won.
Well, Dice said this week they play hard in the fourth quarter. We just got to get it out of them in the first 3. Well, not sure they checked that box, but here we are. First play of the fourth, looking down the field, catches his own pass, knocked down into the hands of Fine, who goes for a run. On 1st and 10, punch down at the line of scrimmage.
I'm just making it up. I think it was Lorenzo Malden that knocks it down, gets his hands up and bats that right back to the quarterback. You can't throw it again. You can't throw it twice. Well, it might have been Wakefield, number 96. Yes, it was that big right arm, and then Fine picks it up.
Gain of 8. Leads to 2nd and 2. Ball is out. They're going to let it play. Douglas Coleman going back the other direction in a foot race with Samuel Amelis. Touchdown, REDBLACKS.
In there in short yardage, Jake Dolegala. I didn't hear a whistle.
They'll let it play out and see whether or not.
I love you too, Bill.
Dolegala was down by contact. We'll get a great look at it for you here.
Well, we'll look at it in slow motion first. See if he was down in any way by contact, if his knee or he's on the top of the pile there. I'm not sure any part of his body touched the ground from that look anyway.
That was Thomas Schaefer, the Austrian out of Stanford.
Now there is sort of this, you don't necessarily have to hear a whistle, because there's the officials can stop a play if forward progress is stopped. That's the question, though. Was it stopped when he turned on his back? Or did they let it play because he was still trying to squirm his way for another half yard or 2? See, his legs were still kicking there.
He was driving the legs forward, and I think that might be the difference in this one, Suits.
Yeah, because if he flops on his back there and he doesn't move, forward progress is stopped. We'll see what they say.
Here's Tim Croker with the call.
After review by the command center, is a call is a fumble, recovered by Ottawa and a touchdown.
So for an offense that has been stagnant, giving up sacks, inefficient throughout the ball game, we joke about the fourth quarter in these Ottawa REDBLACKS, but the second play of the fourth quarter, out of nowhere, they're back in it.
Exactly, and this, just so you know, I mean, Rider fans are wondering, well, like, how'd this happen? Because none of his body touched the ground. He was on a defender the whole way there.
Extra point is good, but Suits, you and I were on the drive over here today, and we were talking about Hamilton and Montreal last night and trying to fight back into football games, and we were saying, if you're down and you're in the fourth quarter, you kind of just got to pull a play out that shouldn't happen.
Yeah, the one that, you don't expect to happen, but if everyone's playing hard, you'll see. I'm not sure who rips it out here, but see, Dolegala doesn't touch the ground here, and as he's still driving his feet, the ball comes out right there.
It's Thomas Schaefer, the defensive lineman, out of Vienna, Austria. First Austrian to play FBS football makes a big play as a global.
And Coleman takes it and is gone. And that's, you know, the correct call. And the guys are going to let, the officials, I'm saying, are going to let Dalagala keep pushing even though he's on his back on top of the pile, because he was short of the first down if he doesn't keep pushing. But you're right. When you talk about this Ottawa team, that fourth quarter comes around, they find a way to make a play or two, and all of a sudden it's a one possession, it's a field goal game.
It's incredible to watch. It's in, you know, in the NCAA, you talk about, you hold up the four fingers and say, okay, it's go time. It's the fourth quarter. Let's do this thing. Ottawa flips a switch and something happens. Flag comes up on the kickoff here. Might be offside against the Red Blacks. As the return comes out just beyond the 30. And it will go against the Red Blacks. And I wonder whether or not Craig Dickinson is going to ask them to re-kick this one and see whether or not the Red Blacks coverage unit, which has been exceptional throughout the year.
Offside.
Have some tired
Ottawa
legs.
number 48. 5-yard penalty. When re-kick.
Well, it has been outstanding tonight. Mario Alford has got really no looks at all to any openings, and I think Kevin Francis has led the way for Ottawa. I mean, he is, I want to say he's at least 3 special teams tackles so far tonight.
He's been dominant in his career, as they'll send how slow the Ottawa Redblacks coverage unit is walking back to the starting point of the kickoff here now at the 25. As Corey McDermott, special teams coach, looks at it with Bob Dice, who was the special teams coordinator before getting the call into the big chair of head coach.
So the field position for Saskatchewan would have been the 30. Now let's see after the offside how that changes.
Leone stretches it as long as he can. This is where the conditioning pays off. Saskatchewan returning it right through the middle. Thomas Bertrand-Houdon gets a touch in the kick return game. 4th round pick this season out of Delaware State.
Well, now this is the question. Does a young quarterback squeeze the stick a little bit harder when the play is made on defense for Ottawa to make it a 2-point game? He's made some real, Mason Fine I'm talking about, has made some excellent decisions for a young guy so far to this point.
Fading away from the Red Blacks pressure throughout the evening. Lorenzo Malden said the back end has been enjoying the pressure up front the Red Blacks have been getting throughout this season. Can they get some here? They do. Fine has to roll away to his right. Has to use his legs. Santos knocks. Brings him down just shy of the 50.
Fine's got a little jump and a little fire in him tonight. It's interesting to watch him after getting up after that tackle. And you know, but I don't blame him because, like as I mentioned off the top, he's around 600 yards passing in 2 games with no wins. I mean, he's just he's dying to get that first win, 0-4 in his career.
Hard count, and it looks like might have been Lofton, the left tackle, who jumped, or was Ottawa.
One stat I'd love to have one day.
Fingers pointed?
Well, no, yeah, that's another good one we should have. But we know the one where you're playing against a premier pass rusher, or Lorenzo Malden. You're playing
procedure.
How many procedure
number 52.
calls?
5-yard penalty remains, 2nd down.
On the tackle,
Yep.
who's playing opposite the premier rush ends in the league, because it seems to me there's a lot of them.
Very similar to receivers not getting credit for pass interference yardage.
Yeah, exactly.
But
it's very, very similar
changes
scenario.
the game. Changes the game, no doubt. Lozo digs in against Lofton at the top of your screen here. Fine looks to throw on 2nd and 12. Flips his hips, backside. Incomplete. Looking for Tevin Jones. Nearly had him on a timing throw, but just couldn't match up.
Missing me, man. Some bullshit.
Just a little bit slow coming under that double move. But feel like old Mo has switched teams, put on a white jersey all of a sudden. Play on defense. Old Mo is momentum, by the way.
Tevin Jones, 91 yards per game receiving, coming in. That leads the CFL tonight. Just 1 catch, 4 targets now. What a kick this is. Hammered back to the 5-yard line. Harris got some running room. Justin Herdman-Reed right there to cover down. A monster kick. Saskatchewan covers down. The only thing you can get with a monster kick is a mini dunk.
Looking back at this punt that was driven into the 5-yard line, and whether or not Tobias Harris here should have let that go into the end zone. Now it's a 2-point game. If you give up a single here, it's a 3-point game, which means you're still just a field goal away from tying it and continuing the game and going into overtime possibly. Or do you protect the chance to win with a field goal and back your quarterback up inside the 15?
Dustin Crum backed up, fakes the run, looks down the field, throws complete. First down on first down. And that'll certainly help as Jaden Dalkey finishes off the tackle. And my mentality as next quarterback on that one would just be, I hate being backed up.
Yeah.
I don't even care whether it's 2 or 3, doesn't matter to me, but Crum getting out of there quickly.
You know, this is a big play. That's why this is a huge play for Ottawa. To get out of that decision now becomes moot, because you got some breathing room. You punt it here, you're okay.
Ottawa offense in the second half, 4 drives, just 13 net yards and 1 first down. They matched that on the first play of this drive. Handing it off inside, going nowhere. And more pushing and shoving at the end of the play. Jaden Dalkey is into it with this Ottawa offense. A lot of talking for the 6th round pick last year out of Alberta.
Well, for both these teams, the win much more important than who can out-talk who after the whistle. But discipline is going to be important in this final 11 minutes.
Red Blacks on the season in 2nd and 7+, converting just 29%, dead last in the CFL. They got to have it at least a couple times here in the 4th quarter to come back in this one. Crum against pressure, gets it out, complete. It's the fullback, Marco Dubois. Just his 3rd catch of the season, all the way out to the 55, and another first down for Ottawa.
Yeah, they were doubling receivers. The Saskatchewan defense with Moncrief and the defensive secondary. Moncrief is in here. Watch how they're going to double the 3 receivers to the field. They're going to have deep guy over top, so they've got help deep. They'll stop it there. They're all deep. That's why the fullback leaked out of the backfield and was wide open underneath. Nice pickup by Crum to see it. Real good call by Kahari Jones.
Full value call that time, going off script. Dialing it up is Kahari. They'll go bootleg here for Crum. Looking downfield, cutting back, jumps over a tackler, and brought down after a gain of 8, using the legs. We said we'd see some of it here in the 4th.
I asked him about taking hits in the first 2, and we showed you the great pace he's on rushing the football and all that. And I said, yeah, but how's the ice pack situation after games? He goes, yeah, no, definitely taking its toll. So maybe that's been part of why he has been a little more reluctant to run in the 1st and 2nd quarter.
Bob Dice did say this week about Crum running. He said his feet have helped him early on. Can't rely on it too much. Bit of a false positive. He has to learn to trust the players around him a little bit more. See if he comes in after 2nd and short here for Tyrell Pigram. He'll get the first down marker, but
yeah, I would agree with that, Marshall, that, trust the players around you more, go through your progressions, and you want to learn to be a pro quarterback. Then Dustin Crum has to do all of those things. But this is a big part of his game, is the run game. And, the guys that we showed you on that board earlier with Damon Allen and Tracy Ham, deep into their career, they were running at times for 100 yards a game. And it was almost impossible to defend. So he's got to play it both ways.
Nate Bahar at the bottom of your screen, a favorite in the 4th quarter of Crum this season. They look the other way. Wall shot, low and away, where only Justin Hardy could go and grab it. And more whistles behind the play as the first catch of the ball game for the Red Blacks leading receiver coming in.
Look at this, just sitting down, and that's right. That throw low and away. You had CJ Rivas coming in. If he throws that up high and inside, it might be picked.
Seventh different receiver to catch a pass from Crum here this evening. 1st and 10. Pressure on from the Riders. Fake the run. Crum throws outside. Hardy's got his second catch. Knights gets what he can. Crum into a passing rhythm now.
Really switches the pressure now. The pressure goes straight to the Saskatchewan bench, because this is field goal range at the very least against a Rider team that's had the lead all game long.
Another 2nd and 1 here. Tyler Pigram checks into the ball game. And Dustin Crum, the legend, born with the 2nd largest comeback in Ottawa history, 19 points against Winnipeg. Trailed 25-6, came back and won 31-28 at home. Took it on the road. Did it against Calgary. Trying to do it on the road here as well, with a little help from his backup quarterback, who's going to look to throw. Pigram, fade ball. Jalen Acklin outside. Can't hang on. Got aggressive with it. Clark on the coverage on the outside, one-on-one.
Yeah, the idea there, I think, though, was to fool Jeremy Clark, because it's short yardage, and they're going to say, no, we're going to continue to go quarterback sneak with Pigram, but he doesn't. He throws the fade route, but Jeremy Clark not fooled at all. Now, it looks like Acklin wants a challenge on this, but I don't think they'd win it if they do.
And again, Kahari Jones emptying the bag of toys here in the 4th quarter, trying to come back. This one is not going to be fancy. Pigram, right side, jumps on top of the pile. They'll spot it and take a look. See Hunter Stewart back in the ball game there, 67. Good to see him.
Oh, he said he was okay.
He said it was fine. It's far from the heart.
Yeah.
So. We get a look here down the line.
So Pigram will get forward progress. And you can see that it looked like Nick Marshall trying to rip it out, just like Dalagala went through.
That's a great look at it right there.
Didn't get it.
Going to be short. Ottawa with all the momentum here. And Saskatchewan needed something. They just got it.
Nope, you didn't get there. I think this spot was pretty good by the official. We went back and looked at it a couple times. It's a good look right down the line, and there's Dean just stopping that forward progress right there. That 25 official, he was right on the line, and they were short 5 inches. And
Mason Fine fakes the run, looks to throw, gets hit. And that one, pressure applied by Javon Santos, knocks immediately as Ottawa trying to get possession back.
So I just go back to that decision on 2nd down and 2 to go. And this is Acklin now. He's got to try and sell this go route and fool Jeremy Clark at the bottom. See, he tries to hop like nothing's happening, but Clark's not fooled. So that play leads to the stop on 3rd down for the Saskatchewan defense.
It was the longest drive of the night for Ottawa. 9 plays, 74 yards in 6 minutes. It gets stopped on 3rd down. And now Saskatchewan trying to convert after the incompletion. 2nd and 10. Fine stands in, looks over the middle. Flag comes up. Jake Winicky being defended by Douglas Coleman.
Yeah, I think it looked like Abdul Kenna and Sean Bain. Sean Bain reacted in a big way to turn to Kenna and said something.
Illegal contact on a receiver. Ottawa number 35. 10-yard penalty. Makes it a 1st down.
That wasn't the penalty. It looked like Douglas Coleman. No, I don't think it was Douglas Coleman. I think they got the wrong number here.
Regardless,
because if it was Winicky, it would have been pass interference because it was thrown to him.
1st and 10. Fine rips into this one. And it's complete to Sean Bain. And the interesting talking point coming out of this one, if Saskatchewan salts away the next 5 minutes or so here, is Ottawa was deep with a chance to take a field goal and take the lead. They went for it on third and short, expecting to go and get it, because that's what football coaches in the CFL will always do, is try to go ahead and get that yard and give yourself the best chance to win. But man, there's going to be a lot of discussion about not taking the field goal.
Well, you get, but they, you know, again, and it goes back to that long throw and trying to fool the Saskatchewan defense on second but it wasn't 2nd and 1, it was 2nd and 2.
Yeah. But you're right. I mean, you take the shot knowing you're going to go for it on third down, but if you take the shot and you don't get it, do you not still kick the field goal? You can take the lead in the football game, right?
Exactly.
Interesting discussion.
There will be a discussion there. By the way, that last penalty that extended this drive, I'm sure was on Kenna, because there was contact on Sean Bain way down the field.
As we know, though, anything can happen in the final 4.5 or 3 minutes or 10 seconds in the CFL. Lots of time left in this one. Saskatchewan throwing again through the hands of Tevin Jones.
Well, he was going to make a move, wasn't he? Yeah. He was trying to snatch that, not look it in and catch it, but snatch it and make a move at the same time. And even the best of the best get in trouble doing that.
And now another 2nd and 10 for this Riders offense. Communication with the newcomer Stearns. Inside receiver to the top of your screen there. That's the direction Fine looks. Comes back to his right, late over the middle, and completes. Knocked away. And where does that come from?
Real late flag right in front of the Saskatchewan bench. Santos Knox is covering Jamal Moore out of the backfield. Don't see anything there. Looked like the play at the ball was okay. I don't think that
Pass interference, Ottawa number 39. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Is it that right hand suits wrapped around the back?
The right hand can be on the back. It's a matter of whether or not it twisted him and didn't allow him to go and continue on his route. So the hand can ride there. Oof. I didn't see it twist. This might.
That's a hard one to overturn.
Well, this is going to be challenged by Bob Dice.
And I think, Bob Dice, you would agree, right to challenge this, but that's a hard one to overturn based on the video.
Well, you know, you have to see that the receiver has been altered, like twisted backwards, pulled in a certain
Ottawa
direction.
is challenging the play of the defensive pass interference. The play will be reviewed.
They'll take a look at it.
Tevin Jones, 14 flying into your shot. Valentine Turner diving, full extension. Right hand around the back. I agree with you, Suits. I don't think that should have been called in the first place. But since they did, I don't know if they're going to be able to overturn this.
Well, I think you've got to look and see, is it pass interference? And I don't think it is. So whatever they rule, I've declared my thought.
Valentine Turner, he's had his hands full tonight with Tevin Jones. Let's get the call. This is a big one from Tim Croker.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. There's no pass interference. It'll be third down from the 44-yard line.
And the Red Blacks have life. Bob Dice now 2 of 5 on the season with challenges and 7 for 11 career.
But that was a real field position shifter too, and a new set of downs. Even if the Riders go 2 more plays, get another 8 yards and are short, and they're punting it, now they're right inside the 10, and they backed Ottawa back up. So, I think it was the right thing to do for Bob Dice, obviously. And both those guys were diving for the football.
Red Blacks send back Harris and Hardy. It will be Harris from his own 10-yard line. Got up to the 20. Solid return. As we get set for week number 10 in the Canadian Football League, the CFL and TSN continues next week with a full slate of games, beginning with Thursday night football, continuing all week long. TSN is your home for CFL football. Trey Ford in action, finally,
against the Blue Bombers and Zach Collaros.
I'm only slightly excited to see Trey Ford against Zach Collaros.
I think there's a few people excited to see him, and again, it wasn't Taylor Cornelius' fault necessarily, but you see young Trey Ford.
See what young Dustin Crum can do here. Hard count to begin the drive. Nobody jumps. Rolling to his right, throwing back across his body. Fits it in against Moncrief. That's about a 9 out of 10 degree of difficulty snap to start a drive right there from Dustin Crum.
This is 18's wheelhouse. Dustin Crum's wheelhouse. We're down like 3-minute warning time. He's down by 2 points. This is exactly what he's been doing.
Guy lives for this stuff. The eyes locked in, scanning the defense. Blitz look on 1st and 10. Gets it out, and he left it inside. That one should have been intercepted by Amari Henderson, but Nate Bahar maybe got just enough of it. Straight completions for Dustin Crum. Before that, incompletion intended for Bahar. Dig into the playbook here on 2nd and 10. Protection is there. Down the field, hung up in the air. Incomplete. Jack Evans. Oh, what a play that would have been for the former Rider against Jeremy Clark.
It's 2 big plays for Jeremy Clark. That 2nd and short. And that one right there.
Clark gets a hand on it. We have hit the 3-minute warning. 2-point ball game.
This one's an athletic play. Jack Evans is in behind him. He's got him by 2 yards, but he recovers, closes the gap, and then wins. Now this was just a bit underthrown from Crum, and here's why. Pete Robertson closed the gap and was right in his lap. It was hard to step into that throw, didn't get enough on it. Allowed Jeremy Clark to track it down.
Crum was dealing with the right hand, a throwing hand injury last week against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. It was a turf burn that got ripped open, was bleeding, and they had to help him. Swole up through the week, but looking healthy now in the 4th quarter, doing what he does, just like this man, Mario Alford, doing what he does, trying to break a return. Goes backwards that time. Trying to find a way to make a big splash play for the Riders.
Well, and you're going to give him that leeway because he's who he is and he's done what he's done. So you give him the leeway, although that was possibly a valuable 5 yards.
I'm interested in this right now. So it's the last drive, 1st down calls. They put a lot on an 0-2 quarterback this season in Mason Fine. And in the incompletions, they asked a lot of an 0-2 quarterback for the Riders on 2nd and 10 late in the game to move the sticks. I wonder if the play calling changes at all here.
Well, you know they've got to get 2 first downs. There's still time. You get a 2-and-out here, you're Ottawa. You get the ball back in real good field position.
Let's see what Baron Miles, defensive coordinator for the Red Blacks, decides to do. Show some pressure. Riders show run, give run inside. And the Red Blacks do their job on 1st down.
They're going 5R.
Yeah.
5R from Kelly Jeffrey is 5 receivers.
Albert Awachi checks out of the ball game. There's Baron Miles playing the chess match.
It's Jarrett Stearns that comes in.
And now a timeout by the Red Blacks.
Timeout, Ottawa. Timer, please reset the game clock to 2:11.
Why would he use it in that spot?
Well, yeah, there had to be an issue with
2:13 on the clock, please.
With
2:13 on the clock.
With their defensive personnel on a key 2nd down. I mean, this is where Ottawa needs to stop, or else they don't give their quarterback time for the comeback drive. So Bob Dice was forced to call it.
Likely trying to match
2:11 on the clock, please. 2:11.
that 5 receiver package coming in from the Riders that you mentioned, and maybe had one too many heavy body in there. Might have created a mismatch. As you see, Samuel Emilus, he does lead the Riders coming into tonight with second down conversion catches.
But you're right. They needed it when they got their ball back, if they are going to get the ball back.
The Red Blacks out of timeouts, down 2. Second and long here for the Riders. They'll go 4 receivers to the right of Mason Fine. Now bounce Jamal Morrill back to the backfield. Snap comes up, handed off, right down the rail. Can they get a stop? Oh, what a tackle. Javon Santos Knox.
It really was.
All the momentum was leaning to the 20-yard line. That's what they needed. And the fist held high in the air says, not on my watch.
Wow. I mean, it looked like Jamal Morrill had it and then some. When he spun out of that first tackle, it looked like Morrill had it. Like this spin right here. It looks like, oh, he's just going to fall forward for the extra yard to get there. But Knox maintained this tackle, grabbed the arm, and pulls him down.
And how about this? Are they going to try and get Jake Dolegala to go hard count, or are they really going to snap this backed up in their own end, leading by only 2?
Well, it's inside of a yard.
It is. And that's a big quarterback.
But where you are, I hear you.
See if they snap it. Dolegala takes it. Leans forward. Not a lot of forward momentum. Ottawa might have just gotten a stop on 3rd and short.
Boy, this spot is everything.
They had to get to the 20. Where is the spot? That looks like it's going to be short. Bob Dice fist pumps. That defensive line, they're not even going to bring out the sticks here, Suits.
He did not get, Dolegala didn't, well, that extra push there, did that get him to the line?
What a moment for the Red Blacks defense to give life to Dustin Crum.
Santos Knox right in the middle of it again.
Well, they're in field goal range, so again, you go back to the play calling decisions here now of Kahari Jones. What do you do with your big body quarterback? Do you play for the field goal or stay aggressive? Bob Dice watches on.
Run the ball.
Inside handoff, lots of running room. Jackson Bennett drives the legs all the way down to the 6.
Yeah, you run the ball. You run the ball twice and run the clock as far down as you possibly can. Now you can run it twice more.
Timeout, Saskatchewan.
And this isn't a situation where you let them score so you can get the ball back, even though that's kind of what it looked like on that play because nobody was home to try and tackle 22.
Talk about some questions throughout the week. I mean, 3rd and inches. You got to believe in Canadian football you can get a first down on 3rd and inches. And you get a yard off the ball from the defense. But we've seen many a stop even this season.
The Riders snap it deep in their own end on 3rd and 1 with the backup Jake Dolegala. He doesn't get it. The Red Blacks get set up with 1st and goal from the Riders 7. Saskatchewan controlling this game really from the very beginning, all over Dustin Crum. Several sacks. But he has a chance again in the 4th quarter to lead them back. He'll hand it off. Ball security. Jackson Bennett, 2 hands wrapped up all over that thing.
Yeah, just they're going to run it twice. See how far they can get the clock down. Now you're looking at your Saskatchewan. Going to make this stop. Full out run blitz. So you close up every gap if you're Jason Shivers. You kick the field goal off by 1 and you may have just shy of a minute left. But you have Mario Alford on a return too.
weapon to have. We'll see what they do here on 2nd and goal. Gotta think run, but is it the running back or the quarterback? Running back right up the chute, leaning forward to the end zone. And they'll spot him just shy. Jackson Bennett, rarely used throughout the season, coming into tonight just 18 carries, no touchdowns on the year. The former Tiger Cat and Ottawa GG, but Jaden Dalkey dragged him down half a yard shy.
Okay, Bob Dice, what do you do now? You're on the 1 yard line. It goes back to the 1, so you got a yard to go. You going short yardage?
The previous play is under review by the command center.
They're going to take a look and see if he crossed the plane, but if he didn't, they're on the 1 yard line. They're going to kick the field goal, go up by 1, rather than go short yardage. And based on their defense just winning on 3rd and inches, I wonder how much that has affected this decision from Bob Dice.
So the undrafted kicker in 2017, Lewis Ward, from the Ottawa GGs, 5th year with the club.
After review by the command center, the ruling on the field is correct. It's 3rd down on the 1.
Lewis Ward stands ready to attempt what would be a lead-changing field goal. All-time leader in CFL history with field goal accuracy. Accuracy is not the question here, though. It's all about protection. The snap from Tanner Dole. The hold will come from the punter, Richie Leone, who turns around and says to Lewis Ward, "These uprights could not be any bigger, my man." Snap, hold, kick, smooth operation. And the Red Blacks lead.
It's the Cardiac Kids led by Crum in a lot of ways. Their defense gets the stop and they get the scoop on this one. So they score to start the 4th quarter and go from a 2-possession to a 1-possession game. Then they get the stop on another 3rd and inches. And the Cardiac Kids are at it again.
Fire up the Crum nickname machine.
However, a minute 4 is a lot of time, and Mason Fine needs field goal range. Now the debate comes here. This is where this discussion will happen in bars across the country. You can punt it for a single too, but when you punt the ball, you are 15 yards away from the line of scrimmage, and it's hard to be as accurate as you can be from a field goal perspective. So I would say when Fine gets this football, and we'll see where this return can get Saskatchewan, he's probably got 5 plays, maybe 4 max.
First things first, how do you stop Mario Alford? Coverage unit trying to get down the field. He springs it across the 40, stumbles. But that is a great place to start for Mason Fine in the Riders offense.
Absolutely, and he stumbles after it's been a tough night, but Alford is always a threat. Doesn't matter if he's been contained for 90 or for 59 minutes. Can he be contained for the full 60? And he's the guy who tackled himself because he stumbled.
Nobody can stop me but me is what he says after that one, but this is exceptional field position for the Riders. They've got 58 seconds to get into, at minimum, field goal range. 4 receivers to the left of Fine. Pressure on, flips it to the outside. Jake Winicky, he's caught it. Across midfield, won't be enough for the first down, but it's a gain of 9.
57 yards is a long, career long for Brett Lowther. Which would mean they need another 7 or 8.
Pressure on, the blitz called, underneath. Did he catch it? They'll spot it for now. It's Stearns making the grab.
Said it was a catch. That's a clean
It
catch.
is. Great grab by Stearns. 45 seconds. Quick work right now from Mason Fine in the Riders offense. Snap comes up, looks to the outside, over the head of Jake Winicky, incomplete. Brett Lowther warming on the sidelines.
Good money.
Yeah, 9 for 9.
I would say to make it somewhat comfortable, he needs another 5-6 yards.
He's done it before. He can do it again, but he'd like some help from his friends. Fine, will throw again. Looking for a crossing or anything. Now tosses it up. Incomplete. Ariel Brooks angry at himself for not turning his head around and finding that football.
Well, this has put a ton of pressure. Not get 4 or 5 yards there. Even a run play might have been something that they thought about. But this is now a lot of pressure. This is almost career long time for Lowther.
And on the year, this season, Lowther 15 of 19 coming into tonight on 50 plus, of which, of course, this will be 0 of 3. He's hit some chip shots, 3 for 3 tonight. This is the only one that matters right now. Snap is back. Kick is up. He dug into it. It's got the leg.
Wow.
He hit it.
He nailed it.
26 seconds left. Under skies all smoky blue-green in Saskatchewan tonight, Lowther plays hero for the moment.
Wow. The pressure on Brett Lowther there. His team going through a 3-game losing streak. Just gave up the lead. And he steps in and nails it. Now there is still time for a couple of plays. Check the time right there, Coach. Looking to see if it made it first, and then the quick check to the time.
It's good. 26
time?
seconds.
Yep,
It's
exactly.
good. 26 seconds. Exactly what was going through Bob Dice's head on that one. Lowther puts it on the tee. Back and forth we go to close out week number 9. Dustin Crum is going to come back in this one. He's going to have to do it against the Riders' defense and the noise. It'll be Tobias Harris from his own 15. Tackled, wrapped up, brought down. Much more work to do here for Crum than Mason Fine had on his last possession.
Yeah, you look at his career stat or his season stats at just under 80%, and that's not Brett Lowther like, but we showed you the 9 for 9 when it's on the line. And that was pressure and no problem for 12. He nails it. Now can the defense finish it? Cardiac kids aren't done yet.
Crum told us this week he's picking the brain of Jeremiah Masoli and any veterans who have played in Saskatchewan just for moments like this. First down, pressure on, evades the heat, gets it away, finds the former Rider Shaq Evans, another catch. Micah Tights makes the tackle, but 15 seconds remaining.
No timeout for Bob Dice. Remember, he had to use it when his defense didn't have the personnel right.
Gotta go. They whistle it in. Clock rolling. Snap up. Crum, pressure on. Down he goes.
This is as loud as I've heard Mosaic Stadium this season.
And the Red Blacks go back to the line of scrimmage here with 5 seconds remaining. Craig Dickinson stepped out and said, watch out for the onside kick. Well, they check it down underneath. Crum's going to load it up. Gets hit as he throws into traffic. Up for grabs on the turf. Riders win. Even when Ottawa doesn't finish it, they come darn close.
Well, Bob Dice will have to answer questions this week from the media about going for it on 3rd and 1 for a field goal rather than quarterback sneak to try and score a major when he was on the 1-yard line going in. He took the field goal and the 1-point lead, and he put Brett Lowther, his defense made Brett Lowther hit one of his longest of his career with the pressure on, and Lowther nailed it.
It's always just a couple of plays that make the difference. Great battle between those two. Brett Lowther, Lewis Ward, couple Canadian kickers forced to answer the bell and try and play hero for their team. They went back and forth